Gemini, you are the disrespectful, selfish saboteur. Oh shit, we just right out the gate started it. We did. Let's talk a little bit about Gemini lore. So good to share energy with you guys. Come on in. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath. This is my channel, Evolve with Monette, and today we're going to have a fight night. Fight me in the comments if you don't like what you hear, but I'm going to talk about what's in the shadow and the rear for every zodiac sign. And now, Geminis, it's time for you to hear that that's how people perceive you when you're operating out of your shadow and your asshole energy, or you're operating out of your most favorite form of communication, which is trickery. That's how people will see you. Monette, you're being so mean. Da, 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 da. No, every single zodiac sign got it. And also, I'm going to double down on this because I'm a Gemini rising, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. When your rising sign comes up, that's how you present to the world. So that's how the world will perceive you. So I'm sure people have thought this about me too. So now, for Geminis, if it's not you, maybe you're watching because someone did this to you that was a Gemini, or you experienced a Gemini's energy. So the note on the Gemini is the disrespectfully selfish saboteur. Let me tell you a story. I once was friends with a Gemini. I once was friends with a Gemini, and I needed a ride to work. Someone was around with my car. This many years ago. On the Fritz, I was working at corporate America. She promised me. I was at her house. I had been cooking, doing stuff, all of that, you know? And so she promised me. She said, I am going to come and get you. I'm going to wake up early. She was a teacher. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to come and get you, and I'm going to take you to your job. Well, she not only didn't take me to my job, she didn't call, she didn't ever explain, and then just like ghosted me. We were friends again because I didn't have self-esteem and I was still growing, young 20s, didn't understand. I mean, I talked to her later down the line. But that is an example of when her explanation for it was just like, oh God, I just realized it was like really far. It was just such a shitty thing to do. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Another story from a Gemini, same girl, because I didn't learn my lesson, glutton for punishment. I have natural hair. And I had natural hair specifically at the time, too, when I was friends with her. She always saw me in Afro Puffs. I rock rough and tough with my Afro Puff rage. Rock on with your bad self. So I had Afro Puffs or an Afro Puffy that I would wear. And she was from Trinidad. And so she had the, they call it like the Cooley Harmony hair. So it was like, wavy and whatever. And she was like, well, I also put a texturizer in my hair and I would do it for you. And I'm like, no chemicals. I'm scared of that. I don't know how to do it myself, etc., etc. I've only gone to the salon previously when I was on the Creamy Crack, a perm, a relaxer. For those of you guys that know, you know. And so she convinced me, let me do a little, it's not even a full perm. It's just going to be a little bit of a, what do you call it? I just said the word. A texturizer. We're going to do a little bit of a texturizer. We'll do it here at my apartment in the kitchen sink. No problemo. I got you, girly pop. Got you. I ended up eventually breaking up with this girl because I was like, oh, you're a hater. You're a victim. You know that means like you're a victim. She was a hater. So she gets the Creamy Crack in my hair and starts the process and whatever. Gets me face down in the sink to wash it out. Midway through, she stops. She says her finger hurts. I've never put product in my hair, personally. And at the time, my hair was completely virgin again. All right, so all the relaxer had grown out from years and years ago when I was doing it. She just abandons mid-ship. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I need help with this. Like, I don't know what to do. And da-da-da-da. And she was like, oh, I guess you can, like, get in the shower. You can, like, do it over the sink if you can't do it or whatever. But, yeah, just my finger hurts. I don't want to do it. Disrespectfully selfish. Maybe her finger really did hurt. But what will happen if you're dealing with a Gemini that's in a lower vibration is they don't give a single fuck about you. Okay? They unapologetically do not give a single fuck about you. They will abandon shit, walk away, leave you, and make up whatever excuse, even if it's not even an excuse. They don't care. They don't even make up an excuse. They'll just be like, I just didn't want to. What I have learned, and maybe that's the thing I should be adding on to all of these, what I've learned from the Gemini and what you can learn is how to unapologetically not people please, because the least people pleasing sign is a Gemini, in or out of whack. They don't give a fuck about having your back. Their back is the only back. They never see no other backs. They don't understand backs. What did Kendrick say? He's a Gemini. He was like, I'm bipolar, meaning from day to day I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna be. They are truly the twins, and that means there is an extreme duality in them, which you will access process mid-sentence. They change on you midstream. Our dear leader right now is a Gemini, okay? So, midstream, you're going to get what you get when you get it. If you get it, upon getting it, upon not getting it, and whatever. He can be easily influenced, but also change stream very quickly. And he also has a lot of Leo rising. He was meant to be a king in his own way. Another story for another day. Not trying to get political here with you. But anyway, Amara, the point is, the fluctuation, the thing that they'll say today will not be the thing they say tomorrow. So what I wrote as a note, disrespectfully selfish is a saboteur. They mess themselves up all the time because that one twin talks to the other twin and they may not be aligned. And so then what you're going to get is demon time. And so if you've dated someone like that, you know, like there are a few zodiac signs that have a really bad rap for dating. Scorpio, Sagittarius. Sagittarius will have you reconsider your fucking life if they don't want to do you right. And then also Gemini. Those are the three, as a professional reader that works with you guys all of the time, that I hear about the most. Why did I ever let them close? Because the way that they will do you, you have to have a thick skin. And some people have natural aversions to Gemini. Now, my mother's a Gemini. So it's like I was put on earth to be tortured, apparently. But my mother never spoke directly to me. She spoke in riddles. I'd be like, Mom, what do you think about this? She'd be like, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you're a cat, can you be a mother? Never a direct answer. Now, let me tell you how that paid off for me. It paid off for me, and then I figure out puzzles every day for you. And that's how it paid off for me, because my mother never spoke to me directly. It was always a shenanigan at some level of fuckery. God bless. She's still alive. I love her. Thank you, Mom. And my mom. Thank you to my mom. I love her so much. But she never was direct with me. And she was always sowing seeds of confusion and doubt in me and saying wild ass crazy things born of probably her trauma to me, but in only the way that a Gemini could do it. And then 5 minutes later, she'd be like, oh, I made you your favorite soup. And then 20 seconds later, she'd be like, I never liked anything about you. But she wouldn't say it directly. She'd be like, I have a daughter, or do I? Sometimes I lay in bed and cry. So it was just always a shenanigan. And that's what you're going to get with a Gemini man or woman, is if they are not integrated, and even if they are sometimes, y'all, because real talk, I'm so grateful for the earth placements in my chart and my fire sign and some water that I have that really makes me more balanced, because that Gemini can, vroom, but it's good for me for business and communications. It makes me great at that, but it also means that I'm good at figuring out when people are on covert attacks, because a Gemini is going to covertly attack you. They're going to clock a thing, and in their crazy brain, the Gemini brain, the bipolar brain, they're like, I'm now going to attack you. You'll never know. Their face doesn't change. Poker face, poker face. You have to have spiritual discernment if you are dealing with a Gemini, and that's why so many of my clients be like, this fucking Gemini. But it's amusing to me. Fortunately, I was inoculated with a mother who spoke in cursive. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you'll get over it. It's okay. They don't necessarily mean you harm. They just wanted to go away, or they wanted to get away, or they wanted to have nothing else to say until they decide what they want to say when they want to say it, and you should listen to it, but not in any real way that they wanted to be responsible for it. They will fuck up a thing. They will fuck up the church's money. That's what Gemini will do. They could have the most sweet spot situation for them, and if they're not integrated, and if they're not doing their therapy like Kendrick, they're going to mess it up from the inside out in such a way that it's irreparably and able to be fixed. And then they're going to be like, I don't even know how I got into this. But fortunately, one of the things for Gemini that I think is good is that they have like goldfish brains, and not that they're not intelligent, but they don't focus on things long. They're not very deep that way. They don't like to be in deep things. They're very stimulated by like what's new, and they'll impress you by what they've learned or what they could teach you, but they're not into like doing deep excavation about the emotions and the motivations with you. So if your attachment style is as such that you require communication and understanding what the fuck, stay away from a Gemini. If you want someone to play trivia with, they're your girl, they're your guy, they're the one to get. If you want someone to communicate with you about the trivial matters in pop culture. That's something they can do. They are as deep as a puddle in the shadow side. They are also incredibly intelligent and wise too, which can be intriguing to you until you'll think there's more. Anderson Cooper comes to mind. Anderson Cooper, there's always more to explore. He's an introspective, deep, and interesting guy. There are the wry, smart, intelligent, dry humor Geminis, but they usually have done some work and been affected by some level of tragedy, unfortunately, in order to ascend. For him, it was the unaliving of his brother who took his life. That was a pivotal moment. He came from a huge family, the Vanderbilts, etc., etc. If you know, you know. But it's the reason that Anderson decided to go fight and see the world, because he thought he had nothing to lose. He could be on the front line because it changed his views, having to integrate and transmute a loss so early in the beginning of his destiny. So that gave him gravitas and depth that you don't often see in Geminis. I'd love to see his chart too. I'm sure there's some other reasons why he does the work that he does do, but also why he is the opposite of his bestie, Andy Cohen, who is as deep as a puddle. Andy is a mover and a shaker and a manipulator, which has worked in his favor, but Andy is not the one you're going to go to for a deep talk. Can you imagine saying to Andy, someone broke up with you, and he'd be like, oh man, that sucks. You look cute. That's Andy. So that's the duality of Geminis right there, Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper. Two sides of a different coin. Fascinating that they linked up in this life. Disrespectfully selfish saboteurs. And the selfishness that you can learn from them is to not people please, friend. It had never occurred to me when that girl just like ghosted me for that ride that morning, that you could do that. Like, in my life as a woman, we are socialized to forever take care. She gave no fucks about anybody. And she certainly didn't give any fucks about my hair, too. And I was like, you hating ass bitch. After that, it was raps for me. I was like, that's a hater move right there. That was fucked up. But the point of it was, her finger hurt. Whether it did or not, she didn't give a fuck about what happened to my head. All my hair could have burnt off. And it did. Some of it did. Some of it did. That's why I was like, bitch, you're lucky I don't... You're lucky you didn't go left in this apartment. But... that she was so unapologetic, and she couldn't care less, and she was just like, oh, my finger was hurting. Yikers. I don't know what you're gonna do. They will sabotage the thing. And when I cussed her out finally and said, beep, beep, and I accessed my Gemini rising, and I connected it to her Gemini receptors, and I said, you beep, 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 beep. Now I did it face to face. I didn't do it on a text. But when I did it, she was bereft. She was surprised. They can't handle that kind of criticism directly. They're incredibly fragile, actually. Kendrick never lied. The bipolar is deeply in them. And she didn't understand. How can you be so upset? Anyway, she didn't care, because selfishly is what she wanted to do. When I've heard feedback from people dating Geminis, the same has been true. If they were not in alignment with themselves, is anything that they'll do. I once counseled a Gemini guy who actively had affairs on his wife, and his justification was he knew how to separate home and outside. He loved his wife. He cared about his wife. I remember being invited to their wedding, and they have since divorced, so I feel comfortable saying this, but I remember being invited to his wedding, and someone that he was flirting with was there. And it was a very kind of sticky, complicated situation, truly. And he was sitting next to me, just at his nuptials. This is Gemini energy. Sitting next to me, just at his nuptials, talking about how he wanted to bend over Shorty across the room. Because to him, I was one of the guys. And I was like, I can't be friends with you, and I cannot, like, what the fuck is this? That's Gemini. A selfish saboteur. You just got married, sir. 25 seconds ago. We just said I do's. We're just now having the buffet. Like, ma'am, sir, are you okay? He was not, in fact, okay, but also he thought he was, in fact, okay. He was like, oh, I'm going to be good today. Because for him, he thought that was healthy and good. That's what you're dealing with Geminis. He had no qualms, felt no kind of ways about flirting and being smitten with someone on his wedding day. I've never seen a more selfish personification of Gemini energy, so much so it scared me. I was like, I gotta get away from you. I cannot be friends with you, because this is terrifying. The sociopathy, that's the word I would use for Geminis when they're not integrated, is sociopathy. They're all about what they can get. It's a very materialistic thing. So just be careful with that, because not only will they lead you astray, they will leave you in the lurch in some kind of way. That's their like go-to move, you know. I had it happen with a Gemini later, and fortunately I was primed with so many toxic, crazy Geminis that I was just watching her. It was like Willy Wonka. I was like, stop, don't, wait, what are you doing? Because I was like, oh, this is like, I predicted it. She didn't understand that, but I had already talked to someone previously and was like, okay, this is gonna go this way or this way, but this is what Geminis do. Textbook. They're not a surprise once you know. They can't fool you once you know, but they will try you. And they will unapologetically do so and be like, bitch, I loved it, I meant it, I didn't care, it's because I wanted to do it. So just know that if you're dealing with Gemini, that's what's going to go down. Anyway, that's from my insight of all of my understanding, from my own sun's rising sign to my mammy, God bless, to these people who would not even step to the left to be of service to you, okay? Very selfish. So be careful. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Find me down in the comments if you disagree. Leave a comment if it happened to you. You've been ill affected by Gemini energy. Or are you the good Gemini that's got your shit together and you're a good person and a good friend? Then leave a comment about that to me too then. All right? Come back and join me next time, guys. We'll continue to evolve together.